That works. It is 9:41 right now, and time for a little food for thought.
Yes.
That is the name of a company that Jason Parker is going to teach us all about, right, Jason?
Melanie Schmidt is here. She's a certified health coach, and I am jazzed about this segment. Now, Melanie, this looks like something the guy across the hall from me in college had in his room, vaguely. But this is, what are we dealing with here?
This is a vertical aeroponic growing system called the Tower Garden.
Okay.
And so you put your water and your nutrient mixture within the basin, and then there's a pump that puts up the water and sprinkles it over the roots about every 15 minutes.
And this is so cool. And when I think of, you said aeroponic, I think of hydroponics, but it's sort of the same thing. You're kind of spraying nutrients over the roots.
Right. So with hydroponics, your plant is going to sit in the water. With aeroponics, it's going to be sprinkled with water and misted, and it's going to have more access to oxygen, which makes your plants grow actually faster.
Wow. So this entire thing in the middle is hollow.
Yes.
And you have a kind of a pump and a sprayer that comes up through it.
Yep, the pump sits down in the basin here,
okay,
and then it will shoot it up over the top and then mist it over to the roots.
Gotcha. And what kind of fertilizer or medium are you using here?
So the medium to put the actual plants in is lava wool rock, and so that you have no dirt and no weeds. You just put your seed in there, and then it starts sprouting, and then once it's sprouted, then you just pull it off and pluck it into one of the baskets. The nutrients that the plants receive is what they call just minerals. So
okay,
it's everything that should be in our soils today, but they've just processed a mineral rock, taken out the heavy metals, and made it into a liquid solution so it can go through the pump.
Okay. So is all of this available through your company? Is it a proprietary thing, or is it something folks can make at home, or how do we do this?
Yep. So the Tower Garden, I support the Juice Plus company, which creates the Tower Garden, and so it is something that I offer through my company, Food for Thought,
okay,
but it is made by the Juice Plus company here in the United States.
Now you've got a variety of different things growing in here, and I was talking to you before the segment, Melanie, and you said really almost anything you can think of that you normally grow in a garden in Iowa, you could grow in here, and probably more because you're inside.
Right. So you can do anything except for root vegetables. Okay. So I've done things like watermelon. I have strawberries in here. I have a tomato, romaine, your greens, and your herbs.
I'm going to spin this. Is that okay?
Sure, absolutely. Cucumbers, zucchini. I'm trying a honeydew melon this time. Your okay, herbs. So.
And it's not particularly heavy. Now, you've probably drained some of the medium out, I imagine, to come here.
Right.
But you have a tomato here. You've got parsley. I see kale up here. What do we have growing?
This is romaine.
Romaine.
And Swiss chard is over here.
Okay. And this kind of ties in with another thing we've talked about on the show, too, which is juicing, which you can do with some of these, but you can make a salad.
Yes.
And this is something you can do all throughout the year, isn't it?
Right. So I have had mine outside for about 4 years, 4 summers, and then I brought it in the last 2 winters, and I've just attached grow lights around it, and I'm able to do things like peppers and strawberries and just my greens and my tomatoes indoors over the winter time.
So you're growing your own vegetables.
Yes.
Pesticide free. Mm-hmm. All throughout the calendar year.
Yes.
And obviously you need to rig up some sort of lights somewhere in the house, but that's not a tremendous chore, I would think.
There's a tomato cage that you can purchase with this that you then zip tie your grow lights to, your T5 grow lights.
Wow.
So.
Now, what do you do with the heavier, you talked about melons, watermelons, cantaloupe, whatever. How do you put them on the bottom here and then support them, or how does that work?
Yep. So for the first couple of years, I did not have a tomato cage, so I just made sure that they were all low and they just kind of vined off onto my deck or my patio. Now I have a tomato cage that helps support those vines, but it's not necessary.
How do you make the transition from indoors to out in the spring and the fall?
So typically I put mine out about March, and I can leave it up all the way through November. I just have to have a heater in here, just a pet, like an aquarium heater to warm up the water. But then when I move it in, I actually change my plants out because I don't want to bring any bugs inside.
Any bugs? I was going to ask
Yep.
you about that. Any bugs
Yep.
inside? So what are we looking at here for cost?
So you can split it up over 12 months for $45 plus tax,
okay,
or a full payment of $525. So it typically takes about 1 to 2 growing seasons for it to pay it for itself, depending upon how much produce you're purchasing at your.
But this thing's cranking out produce all around the calendar.
Right. And the better thing is you get to let it sit on the vine, so that makes it more nutrient dense than if it's picked earlier and placed into the grocery store. So you're getting more antioxidants when it sits on that vine in the aeroponic growing system.
Now, are you able to use your own seed? Maybe you have heirloom seed, or maybe your favorite variety. Does it matter?
No, it does not matter. So I use my own organic seeds.
Okay.
I can start them from scratch, or sometimes what I've done is if I get a late start, I go to a local nursery and pick out an organic plant, wash off the dirt, and then just place it within the lava wool rock and then pluck it in. So it's already a bigger plant.
And it just goes. So
yep.
You have some fairly large plants in these small openings here, but
yes.
the roots actually go down?
Yep. So the roots actually will go down, and what I always suggest is you reach in, because there's a horsetail of roots that come down, and just trim those so they don't go up into your pump.
Oh, okay. So just keep them free of the pump and just
yes.
check them. How often do you have to check that?
I check it probably every, once a month.
Okay.
Yep.
This is really amazing, and something I imagine people have heard about for years, but this kind of makes it very convenient
yes.
to grow in your own home. All right. Where do folks find out more information, and how can they get a hold of you?
Sure. So my website is www.ms.towergarden.com,
okay.
or you can go to www.food4thoughtdm.com. And my phone number is 515-371-3463.
Now, if people are intimidated about the setup or assembly, is it something that's tough to do?
It's very easy. There's YouTube videos to put it together, and a lot of times if it's local, I will come to that person's home and set it up for them.
Okay. Anything you have to worry about in terms of sunlight and where you place it during the warmer months of the year?
No. I've done it where it's partial shade during the day, and sometimes this one sits in the full sun, and so it has no problem. A question I'm also asked a lot is this PVC pipe? And it is not. It's USDA approved food grade plastic, and it's also UV stabilized, which means that it will not leach into the plants.
The PVC, there's concern about some of the chemicals in it,
yes.
right? Okay,
yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that with this as
nope.
well. All right, one more time, if we could show the website where folks can get this. I just think this is wonderful, and in my case, I'm thinking about kids, and what a neat way to get them involved in gardening.
Hey, Melanie, I went to your website and I saw something on there that said freebies, and it said you have a 3-day juice cleanse, and
yes.
And it said you're going to walk them through it. What's that about?
So that basically gives them the recipes for 3 days and some support via a private Facebook group page to kind of kickstart their health if they want to do that.
All right, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I was just checking some of your things out. It's Food for Thought DM.
Yep.
Isn't this cool?
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, awesome.
I love this thing. All right, thank you, Melanie, so much for being
you.
here, and I may be giving you a call here pretty soon. We'll have to get it through the Finance Committee. In any event, great day rolls on. We'll talk about your final weather forecast and what's coming up on